Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Myrick. I'm the clinical director for Smile Therapy Services. So I just want to welcome everyone. It's good to see everyone's faces and talk about the holidays, which is one of my favorite subjects because I love the holidays. And so talking about it, managing it during COVID-19, during the pandemic is a really important topic. So Devin Mitchell and Kanisha Wallace are going to guide us through that. I did want to give you some background on Smile Therapy Services. Smile Therapy Services, we are a mental health agency and we provide outpatient therapy to children, adolescents, families, and adults. And we help them improve communication, interactions, and strengthen the family system. So we are located in Washington, D.C., specifically in Northeast, and we have a range of high quality staff members who are licensed counselors, social workers, and marriage and family therapists with a range of experience over 10 years. So we have a lot of experience with families, and we're all just trying to navigate this experience through COVID, and just make sure that we're all regulating and doing what we need to do during the holidays. So I'm going to hand it over to Miss Devin Mitchell and Kanisha Wallace. All right.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devin Mitchell. I'm one of the therapists at Smile Therapy.
Yes, and I am Kanisha Wallace, and I am a school-based clinician at Kimball Elementary School. So I have the babies.
Oh, okay.
So today we will be talking about social distancing during the holidays, and also ways to cope as well. Next slide. So for our agenda, we're going to start off with doing an icebreaker called Would You Rather. We'll do a pre-test, which we will allow you to participate in a poll. The questions will be in a poll. And we're going to discuss coronavirus and the pandemic, risk and preparation for social distancing and gatherings during the holiday season. We'll discuss internet safety. We'll talk about some snacks and holiday games, some family traditions and holiday crafts. And then we will shift to discussing recognizing stressors, triggers, coping skills. We'll discuss a little bit about grief and loss because this is a time where, people have lost loved ones that either they normally spend the holidays with or they lost their loved one during this time. Mm-hmm. And we'll also discuss about how to talk with children and emotional health, and then some resources. Next slide. So first, we're going to start off by doing an icebreaker. So for whoever would like to participate, if you can pick a number between 1 through 10, you can either unmute yourself or you can write in the chat. Let me make sure I have the chat up. And then I'm going to give you a question and you can just choose which option you would rather do. So we'll just do about 3 to 5 people or just whoever wants to participate. So again, you can unmute yourself or say in the chat a number 1 through 10. So we have number 4. Okay. So number 4, the question is, would you rather have X-ray vision or magnified hearing? So you can answer, Courtney, or if anyone wants to shout out and answer what they would rather.
X-ray vision, 1,000%.
X-ray vision, okay. Again, the question
magnified hearing.
Magnified hearing, okay. If anyone else wants to answer, would you rather have x-ray vision or magnified hearing? Okay, so we'll do question number 3 from Freedom is, would you rather feel worse if no one showed up to your wedding or your funeral? Which one? What would you feel worse about?
Wedding. I would feel sad if people didn't come to my wedding. Funeral, I mean, I would be dead, so.
Okay.
That's a cool
Say funeral.
question.
Okay.
I would say funeral because
Funeral.
people come to your wedding because of their own selfish reasons. They don't really. Now I look back at my wedding, I'm like, I ain't heard from you in so funeral.
Yeah, I'd be more upset if someone didn't come to my funeral. I had 3 weddings, and I actually wish I wasn't at any of them. But
Okay. So the next question, number 7. Would you rather be given a lifetime supply of delicious foods or books?
Books.
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 Okay. Let's see, books. Okay. Foods. I see some foods. Okay, because I don't cook. Food. Okay. So the next question, let me scroll up, is I believe 8.
Yes.
Would you rather be the first to explore a planet or be the inventor of a drug that cures deadly diseases? Be the first to explore a planet or be the inventor of a drug that cures deadly diseases? What would you rather do?
I'd rather be the inventor. The inventor for me.
Inventor, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Seeing I have a chronically ill child, it definitely would be an inventor.
Okay.
Yeah, all the space movies, bad stuff happens when you go too far out there, Don't take me to space.
Okay. And someone else picked 8, but is there any other numbers? Anyone else want to guess the number? One last one, 10. Okay. Would you rather have your lifespan doubled or your IQ tripled?
Lifespan doubled or IQ tripled?
Yes, lifespan. Okay.
So you'd be a know-it-all.
Or you'll be really, really well, I don't want to say old, maybe wise. You'll be wise either way.
If I could have a healthy doubled life.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
The quality must be good for me to choose double.
Okay. Courtney says you can triple it in 2 lifetimes. Okay. Your IQ, okay. And someone says wisdom and good health. Okay. Lifespan. Okay. Well, thank you all for participating. That was our little icebreaker. So, can skip 2 slides actually. So this next is a pretest, and we're going to do it in a poll. So, I believe you guys, the poll should pop up on your screen.
Yes,
and you'll be answered to answer the questions. They're true or false, and there's 5 of them, okay? So I'll give you a few moments to answer them. And while you're answering them, I'll just go ahead and read them out too. So number 1, gatherings with attendees who are traveling from different places pose a higher risk than gatherings with attendees who live in the same area. That's number 1, true or false. Number 2, feelings of uncertainty, anger, and depression are not common feelings during the holidays. That is number 2, true or false. Number 3, checking on others can be a way to cope during the pandemic. True or false?
True.
Number 4, watching an event like the Thanksgiving Day parade online is a way to continue family traditions virtually. True or false? And number 5, making a special ornament is a way to honor a loved one during the holidays. True or false? I'll give you a few more seconds for people that just join you. You might have a poll that's going to pop up on your screen for those who have just joined. We have about 10 people waiting on just a few more. I think only maybe one more because I don't think Kanisha probably did do it and I didn't either. No, it's okay.
So you can probably launch the results.
Yeah, let's go ahead. So number 1, gatherings with attendees who are traveling from different places pose a higher risk than gatherings with attendees who live in the same area. So it looks like it was 50-50. 50% people answered true, 50% answered false. So that one, it is true. They pose a higher risk coming from different areas, but it's also kind of a trick question because even if you live close, if you're being exposed to a lot of people, you can also pose a higher risk too. So we'll just say y'all are both right on this one. So for number 2, feelings of uncertainty, anger, and depression are not common feelings during the holidays. So looks like 10% people selected true, the other 90% false. So it is false. Those have been listed as common feelings due to, some people might, especially during this time, they might not be able to be around their families. They might be alone. They might have to spend it, with people that whoever they live with, maybe they don't have a great relationship with them. So these can oftentimes have those type of feelings listed. Number 3, checking on others can be a way to cope during the pandemic. You all got it right. It was true. Very good. Number 4, watching an event like the Thanksgiving Day parade online is a way to continue family traditions virtually. You all got that one right. It is true. And then the last one, making a special ornament is a way to honor a loved one during the holidays. And you all got that one right as well. It is true. Very good. Okay. So next slide.
Okay.
Ask a question about the poll.
Sure.
The first question was it pertaining to individuals traveling from different countries or just like traveling around your local areas?
Just like traveling in general. So local
like traveling
areas.
from store to store?
Yeah, that's why it was kind of tricky because even if it was a different country or a different state, that can pose a risk as well. But also if they are traveling from store to store, going to different places where they're being exposed to different people, potentially they're exposing you or your family to those people as well.
Right.
I have a comment as well. My sister's hosting a small dinner and she's requiring bring the potato salad, but also bring a negative COVID test in order to come.
Okay. And we'll kind of talk a little bit about that in the preparation for events. That's good though.
Okay, so this is some statistics that I got from coronavirus.dc.gov, and the bar graph, well, not bar, the graph up at the top left, it shows around May 5th where we had that first spike in the cases, and then it kind of went down. And if you look at the bottom part where it says October 19th and November 2nd, that's when the cases started to spike. And I can remember that's when they started to let fans come into the football stadium. That was around like election time. They kind of became more lax with the amount of people that are coming in the stores. And then here, November 16th is showing that the cases are still rising. To the right, they separated amongst the wards. So they have Ward 4 as having the most cases. So I just wanted to show you these statistics so that we are being safe. Just a reminder to continue to be safe. Next slide, please. Risk during the holidays. So of course, gatherings with people who are not adhering to physical distancing. I say physical distancing because social distancing, we are still being social. We have our technology. So it's not really social distancing, it is physical distancing. So that causes risk. Alcohol and drugs can also cloud our judgment. I think about a lot of events and family events where we like to play drinking games. Maybe you go to the bathroom, you come back, somebody picks up your drink, you pick up their drink. It's like a cross-contamination. So that definitely increases the risk of catching COVID during the holidays. Also going shopping in crowded stores. So like at the beginning of the pandemic, they made us adhere to the guidelines of staying 6 feet apart, making sure we stood on the things in front of the grocery stores. And then they would say, okay, we let this amount of people in, you have to wait. So then it started to become, like a little bit lax about that. So just be careful when you're going into the stores. And then I'm not sure how Black Friday will be, but we want to be aware of our distancing from people since the cases are spiking. Next slide.
So let's talk a little bit about preparation for events. So these are suggestions on how you can prepare for social gatherings if you choose to have them. So the first thing is a safety bubble list. So a bubble is kind of a unofficial term that is used to describe like a cluster of people outside of your household that you feel comfortable spending time with during the pandemic. And it's recommended that maybe about a week or so before, so probably within the next few days, since Thanksgiving is a week from today, determining who you would like to attend to to your gathering, and just kind of going over safety measures with them. And some of those measures can look like we just heard about, have you been tested for COVID-19, and providing a negative test result for that. You can also or create, maybe like on Google Forms, if you're familiar, like a COVID screening where you're asking different questions about the different guidelines in your home. So you can ask those loved ones who you plan to invite in your safety bubble those questions about COVID. And some of them, again, these are suggestions. Some of them can look like, have you been diagnosed with COVID? Do you have any symptoms of COVID? Are you waiting for your test results? Have you been exposed to someone that has had COVID within the last 14 days? And are you one of those individuals that might be at risk to maybe more susceptible to getting COVID? Maybe have a compromised immune system. Also, I know that we're talking about the coronavirus, but it's also flu season. So you might also want to check in about that as well, because those symptoms can mirror COVID-19 symptoms as well. So
I don't see temperature check on here.
temperature check, that is, thank you for adding that. That's something else. If you have one of those,
Small. Yeah,
one of those ones that you can put to your forehead. Um, I'm not 100% sure the availability of them. I know at one point when I was just looking for a regular thermometer, I couldn't find it anywhere at one point. So this is now is a good time. If you are planning to have an event, you may start want to look for that if you haven't already. It looks like they sell strips that you can put underneath your tongue that are disposable if you only have the regular type of thermometers. So yeah, that's another safety measure that you can take at or have at your home or wherever you have your gathering. Also, just coming prepared with having maybe extra mask or gloves or hand sanitizers or wipes, asking your guests to bring their own and just having a few extra. I know sometimes the hand sanitizers and wipes might be low, so just making sure you have some type of like cleaning products where you can, clean areas or just wash your hands regularly, going over with your guest on properly washing your hands or thoroughly washing them. I know it was kind of a comical thing that people were talking about singing different songs. So, whatever you find has worked for you, but just making sure that people are aware of those guidelines in your house. So these are things that you want to talk about before your guests come over, like when you're inviting them, when you're determining your safety bubble. And then also when preparing your meals, having them prepared already. And a suggestion is having them so where people don't have to do like buffet style. As we move through this presentation, Kanisha will show you what an example of like an individualized food looks like. So you can only grab that particular item, and you're not touching everything. Maybe having people, like only 1 to 2 people in the kitchen or where the food area is at a time, to kind of limit that time or limit the amount of people that are in the room, because you still want to try to be mindful of the distancing as well. So any other ways that maybe you all are preparing for events? I mean, since we do have the holiday coming up in a week.
So Devin, I have a brother that lives in Pittsburgh, and he's not coming home for the holidays. So it's scheduling a Zoom call with him and his girlfriend. So like pre-planning to do that virtual gathering and maybe sharing the pie at the end and dessert, like as if they were there, putting them on a
Okay.
chair as if they're sitting next to us.
All right, cool.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Hi, it's Miss Pleasant. I started teaching my son about 2 years ago how to brine the turkey and what to put in the brine and when to start that. And for some reason, he has used my macaroni and cheese recipe and made it better. I don't know how. He's doing exactly what I do, but his just tastes better. But this year, we will be doing that, even if it's just the 3 of us, because this is going to be our tradition, is that he's picking up what I do. So I look forward to that. And my 9-year-old is making the light rolls this year.
Okay. Nice.
We scaled down. We don't have a 20-pound or 30-pound turkey. We have a smaller one because it's going to be just us. So that's one thing that's different, is that we scaled down the size of our turkey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the next slide is about internet safety. The internet can be a great place to like learn, shop, play games, talk to your friends, but unfortunately, there are also predators, identity thieves, and others online who may try to harm us. And in order to be safe online, it's important for you and your children and or your guests to be aware of those dangers. And also, this is a time where, you know, if you do decide to gather together, that there's an opportunity for, you know, the younger kids to kind of get together and you know, be on the internet, be on their phones and things like that. And so we want to try to prepare for that as best as we can. Many children are confident that they know how to be safe online and might be spending a lot more time online while they're home for the holidays. So it also puts them more at risk, and they're not always thinking about the consequences of their actions, which can cause them to share more information about themselves than they should, and be targeted as well by like cyber bullies and predators. So just being aware of things like cyberbullying, or cyber harassment, your personal information. It's usually a bad idea to post personal information online, such as your phone numbers, addresses, credit cards, because criminals can do harm to your family. Safe social networking. It's important for kids to be careful when they're connected to the internet, because online dangers aren't just limited to bad websites. There's chat rooms, computer games, social networking sites. There's, I believe it's Pokey.com and Uno Freak that might appear to be safer sites, but they're not. So making sure that you're monitoring, you know, what your kids are looking at. And speaking of monitoring, parental control. So keeping the computer in the living room or a common area, installing some type of antivirus software, kid-friendly search engines. Some like Windows and Macs will allow you to add parental controls, or different user accounts to use for your children, that include like time limits and website restrictions. Um, and then just being aware of online predators that may try to lure kids into sexual conversations or face-to-face meetings. So just also knowing, or talking to your children and your family about what to do in case of an emergency. You know, those situations happen, contacting the local police, or I can put in the chat a link to cybertipline.com from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. Is also a resource that you can reach out to if there is an emergency that occurs that's online related. Okay.
Thank you, Devin. These are just two pictures that I found on the internet, and it just shows how you can individually package things. If you want to do a movie night, you can do creative little things like the popcorn and the corn, just so everybody's not dipping their hands in the same thing or maybe in the same popcorn. Miss Ryder, I heard you say that you're scaling down the size of your turkey. I've heard that, and I've also heard that people are doing individualized Cornish hens this year, so that, you know, you have your own little piece. Also, another thing, you know, some people are doing buffet style, and that's okay if you are. I mean, that's your choice. But just be aware of people not wearing their mask over the food. I attended an event where, you know, the first round when we went up, everybody had their mask on, they took it off to eat, and then they went up for a second plate, their mask was off, of course, because, you know, they had just finished eating, and then they just laughing and joking, yeah, this macaroni and cheese is good, you know, I'm gonna get a second scoop, but then everybody's laughing and talking over the food that you're about to go back up and eat. So that's a big risk, you know, during the COVID season. Next slide. Here, I just put a couple of games. House Party, this is an app, as well as Kahoots. This is another app that kids are loving to play. I know that some teachers have been playing Kahoots with their kids. If you have played Kahoots, type Kahoots in the chat. Scavenger hunt as well. They do have it to where you can purchase the cards, but of course, we can make up our own scavenger hunt and have, you know, fun things to do with our family. This video to the right is Shake Your Tail Feather, and a lot of families play this during Thanksgiving. So what you do is you put the tissue behind your box and you put feathers in it, and whoever gets their feathers out the fastest wins the game. So I'm just going to play a few seconds of this just to show you.
Go!
So a lot of times people play that video. They do that activity with the song Shake Your Tail Feather in the Back by Nelly, and it's a lot of fun. Some people team up, you know, if you get tired of shaking, they take it off, and whoever gets the feathers out the fastest wins the game. So that is just another game idea for you all. Next slide. Here's another one. I found this on the internet. It's just a word scramble. You can even do it virtually. Just pull it up like we pulled it up, give everybody maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And once that 10 minutes is over, you take it down and see who has the most words. Like you can see corn is number 1, pumpkin is number 2. So this is another idea that you can do in the home during Thanksgiving. Next slide.
So first I'm going to just give you some examples of some virtual games that you can play if you decide that you're not going to have a larger gathering. So, and I'll also again provide the links for these games. So we have a scavenger hunt where you can you can just Google different lists, or you can come up with your own of different things, random things that people might have in their homes, and you can do it like a virtual scavenger hunt. You can play charades where you act out the different words. You can play Pictionary, actually using Zoom, where you can use the virtual whiteboard. You can play categories, which we're going to do just one round today, just to kind of show you a little bit how you play it. And you can play virtual bingo, virtual taboo, and virtual Jeopardy. And the cool thing about virtual Jeopardy is that there's a lot of Jeopardy games that are already created with many different topics, or you can create your own Jeopardy as well. So these are all, again, different games that you can play with your loved ones or larger groups as well. So we will play categories, and Beth, I have it up, or if you, I don't know if you saw the link, or I have it up if you.
I can put the link up. Let me go get it from the chat box.
Okay. So how you play categories is, so I'll just ask you to do a couple of things. Sorry, Beth. You see where that 12 is? If you can just bring it down to 5.
The 12 right here?
The 12 at the top. Yes, if you can just put it down to 5, because we'll do a shorter version.
Sure.
And then where you see the 120, if you can just put in 60 seconds, so we'll just do it for a minute. And so how you play it is when Beth presses play, you'll have a list of 5 categories that are going to pop up. And you have, in 60 seconds, you have to try to come up with responses for each of those categories, but they have to begin with the letter in the box. And again, you have 60 seconds. Now, the object of the game is to who gets the most points wins. However, you cannot guess. If 2 people guess the same answer, then no one gets the point. So really the object is to come up with a response that no one else would guess. Okay? Any questions? We'll just do it for one round, and it's for 1 minute. Any questions? Okay, so but if you'll just press restart, and then you'll see the categories with just 5 of them. Okay, so you press play, and if you like to play, you can play. You have less than 60 seconds. So things in a park, tropical locations, offensive words, let's try to be appropriate, fictional characters, and things you shout. They all have to begin with the letter H. As many as you can. 30 seconds.
This is a hard one to me.
Sorry, you can put these in the chat or you can write them down.
Oh, I see the chat going.
So 10 seconds left.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Courtney.
All right. So if you'll just click OK, Beth. Thank you. So things in a park. Let me see if we have any things in a park. I don't see any.
Maybe
That was a hard one.
I put handsome men.
Oh,
Okay.
handsome men.
Hopscotch, handsome men. Okay. I see tropical nations. I see Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Havana. I don't know if hell is one.
That's an offensive word, isn't it?
Yes, that's the offensive word.
That's an offensive word.
Any other offensive words? Maybe ho. I don't know if that's things you shout. I'm not really sure. Let me see. I think that's it
characters.
for that
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. So there's 2 of those. So for example, like that Harry Potter, nobody would get the point since 2 people came up with the same one. Any
things
other?
You shout, hooray.
Hooray. Okay. Hurry. I think that was it. So yeah, that's how you would play. You can have your guest write down the different things, and then someone that can like keep score. And yeah, that's just one. And you can add obviously more categories. We just did 5 because of the sake of time, but you can add more categories and more seconds too.
Perfect. Thanks for that game, Devin. Of course, am I muted?
No, we hear you.
Okay, you hear. Okay. So during the holidays, we still want to incorporate family traditions, or we can make new traditions. Depending on your cultural practice, you can dress in your favorite Hanukkah sweater, maybe your favorite jammies. You can do a recipe swap with your family. You can host a virtual movie night, and now they have the virtual escape rooms online now, so those are kind of fun. You can also schedule a physical distancing snowball fight, and that is good for 2 reasons. Number 1, you're physically distancing, and your child or yourself can get your pent up energy out. And number 2, they're in the house all the time, so they carry stress just like us as adults carry stress. So that's a way for them to relieve their stress when they probably are usually relieving it by yelling or slamming the door or refusing to do work. The snowball fight can help them to release some stress. You can have a virtual Thanksgiving cooking competition whose macaroni is the cheesiest or the best looking dessert. You can also get festive. You can dress up or make cakes or pastries in fall colors or Christmas colors. You can watch the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade together. That's if it's not canceled. I'm not sure if anybody knows if it's canceled or not. Let us know. And another thing you can do is bake cookies, and you can drop them off on a friend's porch. Again, they may not eat them, but just the simple act of us doing it can help us feel like we did something nice for somebody and made them smile. Next slide, please. Here are some holiday crafts. You see the tissue paper, not tissue paper, but the tissue rolls up there where they made like different characters. The trees are made out of the paper plates. The salt dough, that's an activity that you can do with your family as well. So you just use salt, dough, and water. You kind of like mix it up together. Some people put thumbprints or handprints in the dough. With the memory stones, you can take and each family member can go around and place a stone as they're talking about, like, this is one of my happiest memories. And then you put it in the oven and you bake it. Another holiday craft is the turkey, and you can have the feathers be what you are thankful for. And if you don't do Thanksgiving, you can do the tree of thanks, which is up here in the middle to the left. And you can do the tree of thanks anytime. It doesn't have to be Thanksgiving. You can do it all year round. So those are some holiday craft ideas. Next slide, please. So we want to know what are some of your stressors during the holidays. So if you want to unmute yourself, you can tell us, or you can put it in the chat, please, because it's important that we know. Let me pull my chat up.
So this will be like my first Thanksgiving where it's really on me and my husband to do it. Normally I kind of skate by, but I bring a side or two and then go to my mom's house. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, yeah, I cooked this, but we have all this other good food. Now it's just me and him, and I'm just like, ooh, we might be a little hungry unless I order something. I don't know, y'all. My cooking is not my forte. It's just not. It's not.
So you preparing the food this year is a stressor for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you'll probably do great. It's a new experience.
We shall see.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Courtney. Anybody else have any stressors?
Hi, Miss Pleasant here. That's one reason, like I said, 2 years ago, I started teaching my grandson, how to do certain things. Being on your feet all day long, prepping for 2 days for the large dinner, the light rolls, all of this on your feet. After a certain age, you're just, by the end of the day, you're so sore, you can't help but be cranky. Mm-hmm. But with both kids being young and energetic, they look at it as a great thing because grandma is passing on the recipes. But my thing was, I just didn't feel up to it anymore. So by the time when my family did come, I don't expect them to come this year, but I was always too sore to socialize or want to do anything after being in the kitchen all day. So that was a stressor that I am so happy that I'm not going to have to do this year.
Ooh, I'm happy for you because that sounds like a lot. Yeah, that sounds like a lot. Thank you for sharing that. I think we have Tia in the chat said, hoping everyone stays safe because some are traveling from house to house. Yeah, that is something that can make you a little anxious. This Wallace, that's my mother. She said COVID restrictions, not being able to move around like normal. So that's another stressor. Anyone else? Anyone else have any stressors? All right, and if not, we can go to the next slide. So of course, with the stressors during the holidays, it can bring about some strong emotions. So we want to make sure that we recognize what stress looks like. So if you feel like you're feeling more irritable than usual, you have physical signs like maybe you have headaches or you can't relax or you feel like you're just muscle tense all the time. Sometimes you are just losing your temper more than usual because your threshold is so low, like you can't take anything else. So you're just snapping on people. and less patience. You have less patience with people. Another sign of stress is having reoccurring dreams, especially if they are upsetting you. Periods of sadness where you're just sitting there and you just start crying. You may wonder, why am I crying? Because it may be a lot of stuff that is overwhelming you. So that is another sign of stress. Being anxious about the news. So that can cause a little bit more stress. So if you're constantly looking to see what's the stats, what's the news, that is another stressor on top of a stressor. Another sign is when you're lacking motivation or feeling like you want to give up, not eating, having no appetite, also having trouble sleeping or staying asleep. Those are all signs of stressors. So, of course, with stressors, we want to make sure that we find ways to cope. So, knowing how to cope with these emotions and stress can affect your well-being and the well-being of the people you care about in a positive way. And I guess I can give you an example. If you ever flown on an airplane and they tell the adults to put their oxygen mask on first before you put the child's oxygen mask on. And the reason for that is if you are losing oxygen, then how can you help the child who has no idea of how to put the oxygen mask on? So we want to make sure that we secure ourselves as adults and we are able to cope with our stress before we can help the kids. So we can do that by taking steps to build our resilience. So we need to draw on our strengths. So maybe if you're not good at one thing, you may be good at cooking. So you say, well, I'm not good at this, but I'm good at cooking. So I'm going to go in this kitchen, cook me a good meal, play my favorite song, or maybe an encouraging podcast, and I'm going to sit and eat this meal by myself if you need to do that, because sometimes you need to just have your alone time, or with your family. So just focus on your strengths. You also want to manage your job stress. That's another way to cope. So if you need to get more organized so you don't feel like everything's coming at you at once, try to organize your schedule. If you need to take a day, take your day. If you need your mental health day, take your day. Because if you don't take it and you go show up to work the next day, I mean, any little thing can cause you to have a breakdown. And then you'll probably end up needing more days than you would have if you took it, the first time. Another way to cope is to stay connected. So stay connected to positive people that support you, not negative people who drain you. And also check on others, because helping others oftentimes can make us feel good or accomplished because we're doing that act of kindness. Next slide, please. Grief and loss during the holidays. So when we have a loved one who has transitioned, we want to make sure that we honor their life. Like in the poll, you make a special ornament or a wreath for the loved one who has transitioned. You can light a candle during the holidays. If you remember their favorite scent, you can put it in their favorite scent. That can help you feel connected to the person. You can also participate in the activity that a loved one used to do, even if it's something like, I don't know, something risky, like they used to do obstacle courses. Maybe you want to do it so you can feel connected to them. And it may be fearful, but you will feel connected with them. And then you'll also feel accomplished because you actually faced a fear. Like, yes, this is what my grandmother used to do, and I did it, and I felt connected with her. You can also write a letter to the person talking about the memories that you had of them, or expressing your feelings on paper. How I felt because I couldn't say goodbye, how I felt when I said goodbye. And those help you to get out and release some of your feelings as well. You can call others to share within the loss with you. You can swap stories, you can relive the memories, or virtually you can gather stories and photos and videos and put them together in a collage, and maybe you all can watch it one day as like a movie. We also have, forgive me, my doorbell is going off. See, this is life. We're home and this is a part of life. But we also have something that is happening tonight where you can make your own butterfly. It's like a Beth, what is it like? It's like a mosaic.
So I will put in the chat box the link. So there is a company caring place, because today is Child Grief Awareness Day, and you're actually able to make your own butterfly in memory of someone who has died, in honor of a child or adult who is grieving, or in support of grieving children, adults, and families everywhere. And tonight, they will be actually collating all the butterflies from around the world and creating a mosaic. So I will actually put it in the chat box. You're more than welcome to make your own. And tonight is when they'll be launching the design. Thank you, Kanisha.
Yes, thank you. So Beth will put that in the chat box. Next slide, please. So another thing, Katie Hurley, she's a licensed clinical social worker. She talked about, as parents, it is important that we remember that we can't always prevent our children from being let down, but we can manage their expectations and let our children know that we understand their emotions, and we can help them come up with new plans for enjoying their special day. For instance, birthdays don't look the same anymore, but they do have places that give free birthday meals. So you can look up who gives free birthday meals, and that trip to McDonald's or whatever it is a trip in of itself. Like, it's an experience in and of itself, because they're so used to being in the house on the computer, and they're actually going to do something for themselves, which is their self-care as well as a child. So we want to make sure that we include them on coming up with an alternative for how to celebrate their birthdays. Yep, that's it. So next slide, please. Taking care of our emotional health. Again, like I said, if us as adults take care of ourselves, the children will benefit, because we'll be at a capacity where we can deal with things. So just like this battery to the right, it says you wouldn't let this happen to your phone, so don't let it happen to you either. Self-care is a priority and not a luxury. So it's very important that we make time to unwind and recharge our battery in whatever it is that we do. At this time, if anybody can put some things that they do to kind of recharge their battery or unwind in the chat, this could possibly help other people as well to have different ideas of what they can do to take care of their emotional health. Journaling, reading, running, sleep, yes, exercise, listening to music, resting, absolutely. Sleep is very important. Watching funny movies, videos, yes, going outside, definitely. Laughter is a good one. I think that's on here. You want to make sure that you keep a sense of humor and seek out things that make you laugh. Even if you don't want to laugh, once you laugh, your spirit is going to feel a little bit different. And Courtney, like you said, going outside will definitely boost our mood. You know, that vitamin D that we get, well, the sun is going away now, but that definitely helps to lower stress and boost your mood. You want to make sure that you practice gratitude, because focusing on things that you are grateful for can help you feel better. And the biggest thing is knowing that it is okay to say no. And the reason why I say that is because if you're constantly saying yes to this person, yes, 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 what are you saying no to for yourself? So are you saying no to rest for yourself, no to exercising, no to your own self-care, no to building somebody else's dream, no to building your dreams because you're so busy building somebody else's dreams? So you have to make sure that you seek out and be aware, what am I saying no to for myself because I'm so busy saying yes to other people? So make sure you get in the habit of saying yes to yourself and taking care of your emotional health as well. Next slide. And this is just our crisis resources. So of course, if you feel like you need therapy support, Smile Therapy is here. We have our IG listed there, Smile Therapy LLC. We also have the National Suicide Prevention Line, the Domestic Violence Line. So, sometimes you may not can get on the phone to call if you're going through domestic violence, because that person is right there. So maybe you can send a text to send text love is to 22522. We have the child abuse hotline, the sexual assault hotline, the veterans hotline, and the elder care locator, because we know that our elders, they do wander off sometimes. So those are our resources. If you would like to take a picture, those are there for you. But that concludes the end of our presentation. And if there are any questions.
I don't know who else, because we know Charmaine just had a birthday, but I found out for my daughter's birthday that's coming up that if you get a cake it's a nominal fee, it's very small. They will actually take your birthday cake, put numbers on it so you can line it up, but they're put in little individual, like when you just go and get the piece of cake. If you get a birthday cake for a family member at your local stores like Giant, they will actually slice it up and put it in the individual thing, and they'll put little numbers on it so you can line it up and it still says whatever you want it to. But people have individual carriers instead of one piece of cake.
Ooh,
Yeah,
thank you for that information.
Just found that out. Yes.
Wow, thank you. Anybody else have any nuggets to give?
Hi, yes. I know that Zoom is I believe it's just for the actual holiday. They are allowing people to utilize Zoom for an unlimited time frame. So if you have like the basic version, it typically stops you at 40 minutes. But because they know that families are not able to see each other and they'll be utilizing Zoom, they're allowing that day to be unlimited time and free. So just another tidbit.
Thanks, Madison.
And I just want to thank Kanisha and Devin for this wonderful presentation. If you feel inclined to unmute yourself so we can give them a round of applause, that would be great, because it's definitely hard to present in front of people, but they did a great job. Good job, Kanisha, Devin. So proud of you
Great
guys.
job.
Thank you.
And I hope everyone remains safe during the holidays, and hopefully they have gained a lot of great information from this presentation as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you all for coming. Ms. Pleasant, Charmaine, would you like to share anything else before we log off?
No, this was awesome. Thank you so much, everyone.
Sounds great. Okay, bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
You guys did great. Thank you. See you guys. Bye.